In a small town in Argentina, a remarkable story of loyalty and devotion touched the hearts of many. It was the kind of story that made people stop and think about the bonds we form with our pets, bonds that sometimes go deeper than words can express. This story begins in 2006, when Miguel Guzmán, a loving father and husband, passed away unexpectedly. Miguel's death left a gaping hole in the lives of those who loved him, but none were as profoundly affected as Capitan, his faithful German shepherd. Capitan had been more than just a pet. To Miguel, he was a companion, a protector, and a true friend. The two were inseparable from the moment Capitan joined the family. Wherever Miguel went, Capitan followed, always by his side, as though he were an extension of Miguel's very being. They would take long walks together through the town, Miguel often talking to Capitan as if he understood every word. In those quiet moments, they formed a bond so deep that not even death could break it. When Miguel died, the family was consumed with grief, and amidst the mourning, Capitan vanished. The Guzmán family searched everywhere for him, calling his name in the streets, visiting all his usual haunts and putting up flyers, but Capitan was nowhere to be found. Weeks passed, and the family began to fear they would never see him again. They assumed he had wandered off, heartbroken, and perhaps met an unfortunate fate. But Capitan had not gone far. Unbeknownst to the family, the loyal dog had found his way to the local cemetery, the place where Miguel had been laid to rest. What made this event even more extraordinary was that Capitan had never been taken to the cemetery before. The family had no idea how he could have found the grave, how he could have known where Miguel's final resting place was. Yet there he was, lying at the foot of Miguel's grave, as if drawn there by some unseen force. The cemetery's caretaker was the first to notice Capitan. At first he thought the dog was just wandering, but when Capitan returned night after night, he realized this was no ordinary visit. The caretaker approached him cautiously, but Capitan, though protective of the grave, showed no signs of aggression. He was simply there, watching, waiting, and grieving in his own quiet way. For days, the dog would stay by the grave, leaving only occasionally to wander the cemetery or find food. When the Guzmán family learned where Capitan had gone, they were stunned. They tried to bring him back home several times, but Capitan refused to stay. He would return to the house for a brief visit, but each time, as evening approached, he would make his way back to the cemetery, back to the place where Miguel rested. The family eventually realized that Capitan's heart was with Miguel, and no matter what they did, he was determined to keep watch over his master. For 7 years, Capitan made the cemetery his home. The caretakers, moved by his loyalty, began to look after him, providing food and shelter. The townspeople grew accustomed to seeing the dog by the grave, rain or shine, through the scorching summer heat and the biting winter cold. As time passed, Capitan became something of a local legend, a living symbol of unbreakable loyalty. What was most remarkable about Capitan's vigil was the regularity of it. Every evening, like clockwork, he would lie down by Miguel's grave as the sun set, staying there through the night. The locals would sometimes hear his soft whimpers in the dark, a heartbreaking reminder of the grief he still carried with him. People from neighboring towns began to hear of the dog who refused to leave his owner's grave, and many came to see him for themselves. Some would leave flowers, while others brought treats for Capitan, but the dog remained focused only on the grave, rarely distracted by the attention he received. As the years wore on, Capitan began to age. His once sleek black and brown coat turned gray. His steps grew slower, and his eyes dimmed with the passage of time. Yet his nightly pilgrimage to Miguel's grave continued. Even as his health declined, Capitan's determination never faltered. He was there every night, keeping his silent watch over the man who had meant the world to him. In 2013, after 7 years of unwavering loyalty, Capitan passed away. Fittingly, He died at the cemetery, right next to Miguel's grave, the place he had called home for so long. When the caretakers found him, they laid him to rest near his beloved owner. The townspeople were deeply moved by Capitan's devotion, and the story of the dog who never left his owner's side spread far beyond the borders of the town. Capitan's story became a symbol of the bond between humans and their dogs, a bond that can endure even after death. His loyalty was something that touched everyone who heard it, a powerful reminder of the love that animals are capable of. In life and in death, Capitan showed the world what it truly means to be loyal to those we love. Thanks for watching Zap Tales. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another incredible story. We'll see you next time.